Hi guys, so today I'm going to take you through how we can utilize scripting in Blender, and the Blender library which gives us access to Blender APIs that are really useful for mathematical calculation and help us to do things that we usually do manually when using Blender. So as you can see, I have already run the code previously, but we are going to rerun it again and see the result, and then I will take you through the code and explain every part. So at first, let's select this and delete it, and then we can go over here and then rerun the so as you can see, it has already drawn the triangle, and it really gives us a script, and the script really does a lot of things that we normally use to delete it manually. Whenever we use Blender for the first time, usually we don't think about scripting, but it is possible, and especially with the Blender library that gives us access to these wonderful APIs, it's really possible to do a lot of scripting, and today I'm going to take you through it. So if you are new to scripting, usually to set up all this window, you just go ahead to this is a new Blender file I just created. I haven't done anything, so you can just go ahead and just select the type of operation you want to select. So you can come here to scripting, and these are the three available windows for scripting. So the first one is the info. I think the last one is the info. Usually this is for logging the errors and the type of operation that are usually happening, and it's usually really wonderful to really know the the APIs better. Like if you know something that can be done manually and you just want to include a script for it, you just do that thing manually and open the info, and then it will give you access to it and show you that this is how it's done. The third one is the text window and the console. These are usually just much more simpler to the one we use over in our developmental environment, just like Visual Studio Code. It just runs the code, it has a code highlighter and a lot of other things. So let's go back to the code and review it. So as I said, I'm going to explain the code each part by part. So the first one is, as you can see, the first import we do is the Blender library. This is a wonderful library. As I said previously, it really gives you access to a lot of stuff that you require, a lot of APIs that are really useful for the computation for generating these objects. The next one is the maths, usually for just calculation, and then we are importing the vector. As you can see for our script, we started with a pre-calculated proportion for the triangle we are going to draw, so that we have a center of the triangle, and every part whenever we draw a circle, every vertex of the triangle touches that edge. So these are the code to specify the height of the triangle, and the other thing is to specify the distance from the center. And secondly is the method we use to manipulate. So we have two methods. This is the base triangle. It will help us to calculate a triangle, and then we have a duplicate triangle over here that's going to help us duplicate the triangle whenever we are iterating or recursively calling. So in our method we are just iteratively calling through the duplicate method and rearranging the triangles. So the first thing is that the triangle has these parameters. It takes the name, the scale, the material, and the original factors. So then over here we are defining the vertices of the triangle, and then this is the edge, and it's empty for the now, and then we have the faces. So this is the first line we are going to encounter about the Blender APIs. So the first one is this API. As you can see, is the mesh. Mesh is really important. It really brings together the edges, the coordinate, and the phases to really give you this beautiful platform. And if you are not that familiar with mesh, as I'm sure most of you will not be when you are first interacting with Blender, I think this is a beautiful resources. This is on the Blender documentation website, and you can see these all over here are all about the meshes. We are talking about the modeling, the structures, the how you can select, and the tools that really you have access in Blender. I think this is also a good tutorial to follow along if you are learning if you are also new to Blender scripting. So that's other resources. I am going to provide the links in the description. So as I said, this is the first time you have interacted, so we are creating a mesh and then a new object, and then we over here we need to attach these edges, faces, and coordinate to the mesh, and this is how we are going to do it. Then the next thing we assign is the color of the material to the and then we assign a material color to the mesh. Then usually we update the material, so that usually this method for update is usually helps to really fasten up the context of the triangle, and then we return the object. So the second method is the duplicate method. The duplicate method, as I have said previously, is usually just to move the object around and really